Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of NC-17. Today we have some very special guests. They are the team behind Horrorland Media and two two of the four for eight times productions. I got that right?
Yep.
Okay,
8X Productions. Yep.
there we go. We got Justin and Leigh Nichols. How you guys doing?
Wow.
Good. How are
We're
you?
good.
As I'm living a dream, and I can actually say it's my dream today. So so before we get into it, if you guys just want to give a little bit of background, because this is, I think, your fifth time on the show, which is awesome. You broke a record. It's like your Hall of Famers up there. So, yes, I
um,
think. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. So for those that don't know me, I'm Leigh Nichols, a fourth of 8X Productions, half of Horrorland Media. So, um, we've put out two indie horror films. One was a horror comedy, and the other is just straight horror and brutality.
Yes. I'm. You're not gonna believe this, but I've already seen Twisted Gables 10 times.
Bless.
Well,
We're glad you're a fan.
oh yeah, I think I'm more than a fan. I think I'm obsessed with like anything you guys put out. So, uh, so let's go back to the beginning because I saw a post last year. You guys were like, if anyone wants to review our movie, let us know. I reached out and you guys said just get a hold of Justin, and Justin, being the man he is, was like, "Fuck yeah, you want to watch my movie? I'm gonna send it out to you." So, uh, that was Mother Shucker, which was a good movie. It was an excellent movie. It's in my Hall of Fame. Uh, I know I'm weird, Hall of Fame, but well, I'm weird. Uh, but no, it's refreshing to know you guys have a way of doing the art that not a lot of other people have. And you guys work close with the group of people that literally will give you the shirts off their backs. So for that, you
Been
guys are
very
awesome.
fortunate.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. I wanted to get just two of you on here because I've talked to pretty much everyone else. So we do have a couple fan questions that were sent in, but first thing I want to know is,
Okay.
are you guys going to take a break? Or are you going to just keep trucking?
Well, we are currently getting our thoughts together for Mother Shucker 2. So, which we'll film this summer. Obviously, we have to wait for the corn to come in. So, that'll probably be another 3 day shoot. Hopefully we can get it done in two. But we also said we weren't going to do as long a days this time because it's exhausting. So we'll see.
That was good. That was an awesome thing. When I put in Twisted Gables, I saw coming soon to Blu-ray. I was like, okay, this is either Mother Shucker 2 or they got something else up their sleeve. And then when I saw Carl Cobb, I was like, oh, they got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about Twisted Gables and a cast for a minute because I talked to every single one of them before I even saw the movie, you know. And the thing is they all had high praise for you guys and just the way you guys direct and all the the cohesiveness you guys have as a group, you know. In
Mhm.
your eyes, and this is a question I've asked every single one of them, do you think the movie's going to exceed your expectations?
You want to answer that one?
Yep. I mean, I think yes. I think it'll exceed those who were in it. Just because it's hard to think about when you're shivering in a barn at 30 degrees in the middle of November. It's hard to think about what the finished product is going to be, especially for to know that you're sitting in a barn with three people because Eric was unable to be there. You're sitting in a barn with me, Lee, and Carl, who we've never done anything before aside from Mother Shucker. We've never done we don't have any name value behind us as far as like, oh, we did a movie that's made $100,000, or like we don't have any of that. So I think for those who are in it, based off some of the feedback that we got off the cast premiere, I would like to think that it will exceed expectations.
Uh, uh, every single cast member had one word: brutality. Now, they did not let down with that word. I will tell you, poor Sam. His character got fucked up. I mean, but
he did so good. Like he did excellent, and being that he's never acted in anything before, he did great.
oh yeah. Uh, I just want to know what it was like writing that scene, and then when you got him casted as that scene, and you knew what was going to happen before he read the script. What was your guys' thoughts of like watching him read it?
Well, he was actually one of the ones that had practiced his lines and pretty much knew his lines before we ever even did the cast read. So he had really kind of already taken ownership of his role. So which made it great at the cast read because he was already in character. Um, so yeah, but he surprisingly, he was like, I'm down for whatever y'all want to do. Like he didn't care. He was like, I trust y'all, just do what we gotta do. So we did.
Uh, it, like I said, he got it the worst in the movie. I'm not going to spoil nothing, but he got it the worst in the movie. Well, at least physically, emotionally, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Cassie kind of got it the worst emotionally, just because of who her character was involved with.
The way she was beaten down.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. But in writing this, what was your guys's attempt to like kind of just get these characters, these two families going head to head? And I mean, some innocent bystanders. I will say that. Not going to tell you who. Well, you guys know, but not going to tell the audience who. But some people who downright deserved what they got.
Let you take that one.
What was it like writing it?
Yeah.
Really, it was his main idea, and I helped him fill in when we were writing. So we literally sat at the computer and I typed, and then when he would get stuck, I would fill in, and vice versa. So we really kind of just played off of each other, but it was his idea, so I'll let him.
For those who watch Twisted Gables, we'll say this: it's nothing new. It's a revenge film. It's our take on a revenge film of in life you have two people. You have good and you have evil. Evil is a play on words sometimes, but that's really and truly what life boils down to. You have people who are give you the shirt off their back and they're nothing but good, and you have others who they would just as soon spit on you to put themselves ahead as they had to help you out. And that's really what this movie's about. It's exploring that. And it was really a pretty easy write. Overall, there was, there's a couple of things that happened in the movie that I borrowed from some other stuff. Dead Silence being one. So we borrowed some stuff from that because I love that movie. Even though this doesn't have dolls in it, one of the big things in that is in this film. It was just stuff like that. But as far as the write, it was pretty easy overall.
Oh yeah. So in writing the characters, did you knew who Carl was going to play, you knew who Eric was going to play, and you knew who Dan was going to play. Everyone else kind of just fell into place a little bit, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
So the people that were in Mother Shucker that were planning on coming back, we kind of already had them picked for those roles. And
Okay.
then we knew we were also going to have to find some additional cast members. And I had actually already talked to Jenny about doing a film with us. I didn't know we would put her in Twisted Gables, but she was all for it. And then I was like, who would play a really awesome Scarlet is Jenny. And he was like, okay, I'm fine with it if you think she would be good. So that's kind of how we put Jenny in. And then obviously Grace, was a very last minute, very last minute cast member. And then some of the others, I mean, Ty and Penny were both in Mother Shucker. So, and then Lex and Aaron was in Mother Shucker. Lex and Vivian and Christopher, were from the wrestling show. So, but we knew that they would be really good. So we confronted them, or he did actually, at one of the shows, and talked to them, and they were all seemed down to do it. So, yep.
I want to say though, so in watching the movie, being a fan that I am, I kind of like to try to predict what's going to happen, But I sure in the hell did not see that last 10 minutes. I did not see that happening. And when that happened, I was like, son of a bitch. I mean, that was a good twist. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but in doing so I've always said Saw 1 had a very good surprise at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Did not see this ending coming, and I'm putting it up there with that. Because I was just like, all these people are going to get taken out. And then all of a sudden it's like, maybe not. I was like, okay, I'm down with it. So with the twist ending, actually, there's actually 2 twist endings if you really think about it. Did you kind of set it up to maybe possibly doing a sequel, or was it just you got your satisfying ending and that's it?
I mean, technically we could, but I don't really think it's in our wheelhouse at the moment. We have other things that, we want to pursue.
Yeah. I think the ending is satisfactory for those who watch and understand the story. I think the ending is pretty satisfactory, and I don't really see there being a need for Twisted Gables 2, but you always leave that open bookend. Could there be? Maybe someday down the road, but that's most definitely not anything that's on the horizon for right now.
Oh yeah. I think what makes this movie feel more impactful when people watch it, because believe it or not, Lauren actually sat down and watched the entire thing the other day with me, and I was like, "Hey, you're watching it?" She liked it, and she kind of, we had a long conversation because she don't get horror. So, but she said that you guys are kind of, with this story, kind of hits kind of like reality, because there's a lot of that going on everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it drew her in on that aspect. Of course, when the blood and gore was going on, she was like this, but she thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and being with her for 17 years, I was shocked she watched the entire thing. So, so that's a good thing.
Awesome.
But we do have a fan question that was sent in, and this one's for Justin. So they wanted to know your eye for attention on everything. It's like you're so precise on how you want things done. Is it something that, if it's not done properly or done just right, it irks at you until you get it right?
Combination answer be yes and no. Detail as far as story related things, very much so. I've seen enough horror. I hate loose ends on things, and I feel like that's something we've tried to do very well in both of our films. Whether people feel like we have or not, that's their opinion. But I feel like we've tried our best with the people that we are using and the budget that we have to have a very thought out. You get in the car at point A, you stop at point B, and you end at point C. You know where you're going, and we have good stories. I feel like, in my opinion, at least we try. As far as some of the other stuff, I want people to be comfortable. If something's worded different than how I want it to be, or if something is maybe acted mannerism, stuff like that, I'm good with that, because I want it to be natural for them. That's part of the fun behind the scenes, as well as in horror movies. When you kill someone, especially with Twisted Gables kind of being more realistic, as you said, having Carl there as a nurse, he's able to say that's not what that would look like. So we're able to really get some firsthand, like, he's, been in that field for so many years. He's really able to, that's really where he thrives, as far as helping behind the camera, is just being able to say, I want this to look real, and this is what you do to get it there. So, I mean, some things I'm kind of a stickler on, but for the most part, I just want everyone to have fun. And as long as it looks natural, that's my big thing.
Kind of like for Sam's part you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I will say there may or may not have been some chicken bones involved. So, we really try to think about making it look realistic and not just, not just a gush of blood. Like, what would it really look like?
Oh yeah.
Mother Sucker had more gushes, and I can say some of the things we have thinking about, for things in the future. We will have more gushes, more unrealistic things. But for Twisted Gables, we really wanted to take that realistic approach, and I think overall, I think it came off pretty good.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about, you guys call him Ty, so we'll call him Ty. In Mother Sucker and in Twisted Gables, different characters, but he portrayed them kind of similar, but only you could tell they were different. Don't get me wrong, I was cheering for when he got what he got, but it just, I don't know. The dude just seems like, he makes you want to kill him on screen. Am I right?
He has that way about him. That has been his gimmick in wrestling for the past 20 years, has just been making people want to kill him, and he is so great at it. He's phenomenal. He can make you love him 1 second and hate him the next. I mean, that's just him. He's great at it. But behind the scenes, he's a great guy overall. He always constantly has a smile and tries to make people laugh. And if he wants to continue to do them, I'll try my best and continue to find spots for him and things like that, because he's a great overall guy. So.
Yeah.
Did you watch the very, very end of the making of
Twisted Gables?
At the making of Twisted Gables? Did you watch that portion after the bloopers?
Not yet. I got to the bloopers and then I kind of stopped it because long stories.
Okay. When you have time, go watch that portion. I think it's like 16 or 20 minutes or something. Watch it. It will make you understand even more.
All right. Let's talk about Whitney for a minute. Not in the forefront, but just as impactful on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So her character fits where she needed, like at those specific moments in
Mm-hmm.
and putting those scenes together and having her like do those. What was it like? Just like out of nowhere, you got the lady. We got a petition going up. And then you're doing a horror movie, but then you're also doing a reality movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And her and Dan have awesome chemistry. Even though Dan does cuss her out a lot, but and I've tried keeping count on how many times the F-bomb was dropped, and impossible.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
Good, yeah, good luck.
We actually didn't notice how many times until I edited it, and I was like, "Ouch, that was not the intent. That's just kind of how it came out." As for Whitney, though, I mean, Whitney was good with. She actually told us when we brought her back from Mother Sucker, she was like, "I just want a small scene." She's like, "I've got a lot going on." She's like, "I can't commit to being there for like 12, 13-hour days." And so we were really kind of trying to figure out what we were going to do with her, because we wanted her to be in it if she wanted to be. And so we honestly hand picked that and hand wrote that for her. And it was just something to get her in it. And it does kind of bring a little bit of cohesiveness to the story, because where there is I guess we'll call it evil or bad judgment, there's always going to be that opposing force. And I feel like she plays well into that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So I've talked to every single person about it, and now I get to talk to you guys about it. The slap heard around the world. She slapped the ever hellfire out of Dan. I mean, he's like, it was just fingers, and she's like, my fingers were tingling. I'm like, that shit was like on point.
Yeah.
uh,
And I mean, to be fair, Dan told her to. So
that's right. Would you say that was kind of like the redeeming arc of her character for, like, like the family's indiscretions?
Maybe the beginning of her undoing.
Good way of doing it. Yeah. Uh, when you guys were finished with the whole thing and you did your cast premiere, how was that?
Well, to be honest, we were a little disappointed with cast premiere, but that was because all the wrestlers had a gig come up, so they were not there. So I think we ended up with 6 of the cast.
6, yeah.
So yeah, that was a little disappointing. And some of it couldn't be helped, but it's one of those things. We do the cast premieres for them, not for us. So we probably won't do another cast premiere. We'll have watches that they can come to the house and watch if they want to. We'll give a couple of dates, and who can attend, and who can't. But when you go to the purpose of renting a building and buying the food, and and then they don't come because of other engagements, like it's a lot of work to not have everybody show. So yeah, that part was a little disappointing.
With the 6 that were there, we had a great time.
Yeah.
They seemed to enjoy the film. But yeah, I mean, when you have a cast this size, I don't see how other people honestly do it. Dave Kerr, who does like Bloody Summer Camp, a little low budget, his are bigger budget than ours, but still low budget. He's doing a cast premiere and just rented the Alamo Draft House. And, I don't know how people like that do it. I mean, we had 15 people, and I mean, really, it wasn't anyone that just blatantly came out and was like, I don't want to come.
Yeah.
I'm not coming. It was all prior engagement stuff. Even though we had it booked for like a month, just at the drop of a hat, stuff can change. And it just is what it is. It kind of happens. So there's actually still a lot of the cast who hasn't even seen the movie, just because of those prior engagements. So hopefully tomorrow, we're going to a wrestling show. So hopefully we'll remedy that. We'll get a lot of the wrestlers that weren't able to make it. They'll get their copies and be able to see it for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second fan question is for you, Leigh. They want to know when you're going to get in front of the camera for a leading role.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I've never really acted, so I don't know. I mean, if I was put to the test, maybe, but we really have written them around everyone else. I don't know. That's about like asking Justin. I don't think he wants to act, but I don't know. I'm not going to say never, but I'm going to say it's not my time right now.
Okay. So with 2 films under your guys' belt now, and relatively close together, because Mother Sucker was last year, and then Twisted Gate was this year, and you guys are going to be filming Mother Sucker 2 in the summer. Do you plan on having that out before the end of this year, or maybe at the beginning of next year?
Yeah, we hope to have it out in October again.
Yeah. So you say 2 or 3 days shoot, and after that, Justin, are your wheels turning already for another story?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've actually talked about one, but
so the way that we've kind of approached 8X Productions, being the 4 of us, is all 4 of us want to write one. So I know Carl and Eric are both writing on separate ones. I don't know that either of theirs are going to be done based off the last conversation that we had. They don't. Eric said for sure his probably wouldn't. Carl's working on his. It may potentially be done. So we'll just have to kind of see what comes next. But as far as me, I already have another one I've got ideas. We haven't put them to paper yet, but I could put them on paper and pretty much have a script pretty quick, I think, on the next one for me.
All right. Let's talk about Carl for a minute. That dude can drop an F-bomb like nobody. And
Yes,
I think that's like his favorite word,
That's not just in front of the camera either.
I mean, like when Dan's character came up, he's like, well, what the fuck is this? I'm like, that's Carl for you, man. So working with him, you're gonna have a lot of cussing, and you're gonna have a lot of shenanigans on this set behind the scenes because everyone says he's like a comedian. But working closely with him in this one, in the moments that he had to be serious, did you guys find it hard for him to be serious, or was he able to just, bam, I'm serious?
He was able to cut it on and off just like that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So Twisted Gables, we're already 26 minutes in. I didn't even explain what it is. Sorry. Twisted Gables is a story of a corrupt family who are the Slaughters, and they cross paths with the Gables in an unintentional way, but also in a catastrophic way. And it's pretty much like you said earlier, good versus evil, but who's really the evil? Who's really the good? I'll tell you one thing though, never want to be in a room with Jenny when she's got a gavel. And I never want to be in a dark alley when Lex is standing there. Fuck that. But working with different people in this one, and then some of the returning cast. Like, even when I talked to Sam, he said you guys was just so welcoming. When he pulled up, he said he was nervous for the table read. He said he was nervous, and he said, Leigh, you just opened the doors. Like, come on in. We got food and drinks, and that's what people want. They want to be able to feel like, hey, I'm just going to a buddy's house, a friend's house, a family member's house. You guys are so welcoming. Is there going to be a point to where everyone's just going to have a bedroom in your house?
Well, I mean, Carl has stayed here before. And we actually did offer the night of the barn scene for other people to stay. Because I mean, we didn't even get done till 1 a.m. and, they all had to drive, every one of them. So, but they all chose to go home, which I completely understand, wanting to go home and sleep in your own bed. But, yeah, I mean, we're pretty open, we have a pretty open door policy for, if people ever wanted to stay, we're more than welcoming for that.
The moment one of our movies hits it big and we make the big bucks, we'll make 8X compounds and
right.
We'll just have one big family compound and everybody can just live on set.
Let's talk about Devin's character in it briefly, but just, I mean, he kind of let it slip that his character survived. But in filming just that small scene, it seemed again like a pivotal point because he was kind of a crossing between the Gables and the Slaughters. And, in some way, if it wasn't for him not stopping Slaughter, maybe Gables wouldn't have been doing what they were doing. I mean, it's an interesting way. He's not a bad guy, though. I mean, and the way he cut a promo on spot like that on his interview, I was like, okay, I'm a fan anyway. So, but everyone, and Leigh, this one's for you. Every single person, and I hope you've seen all the interviews, but they all,
yes, we have.
they all praise you for being so warming and down to earth and being able to kind of like just let everything be so cohesive. And they said that it's mostly because of you, because you're always there to make sure that everyone, hey, you need this, got it. You want to talk about this, got it. Justin starts getting frizzled, you can, hey, let's take a step back. Which with that laugh, I think that might be a little bit. Is there anything you want to say to the cast?
Oh gosh, just I mean, we have the best cast in the world. Um, I can't imagine, doing this with anybody else. And we couldn't ask for, even though the disappointing on the premiere, like that doesn't have any bearing on them showing up on their days to act and, all the effort they put into it. That comes unmatched. And, even though we're not in Hollywood and we don't have to have the best class A actors in the world, like just the way they all showed up and showed out is amazing, especially since we can't seem to do films in anything but extreme temperatures. So
Yeah, yeah. Because I think Mother
yeah,
Sucker was
but
really hot.
I mean, they were freezing. Like I was so cold. I was to the point I wasn't even cold anymore. Like
Yeah.
it had already passed. And I'm like, okay, do I have frostbite? Or I mean, you know, I really didn't know at one point. I mean, it was ridiculous. So they're awesome and I want to thank them for everything they do.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you see extreme conditions. Mother Sucker was really hot and Twisted Gables was really cold. It's like literally hot and cold, but everyone said brutality. I don't know if it was more brutal because of the weather temperatures or because of what was going on. I think that's a joke because it was what was going on. Trust me. No, I
Probably a little of both.
mean, I mean, so when me and Lauren were watching it, and the thing with Ty happened, she goes, "I'd have just left him hanging there." I was like, "You're evil." uh, so for each person's like demise, Justin, when you were filming it, was just like, "This is awesome. This is how I envisioned it, and this is perfect."
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the only one that didn't come off that way was, um, we'll say next to last. If we go through the order without, because we don't want to give away anything. So we'll say next to last. Um, that one was going to be really, really cool. Leigh and Carl had worked really hard on that. And because it was so cold, everything that we had done froze. So that was the only one that didn't turn out. And that wasn't anything to do with the actors. That was just the extreme temperatures. Like we had blood bags, baggies that we had put blood in, and some hamburger meat to make it look, like it was going to be really grisly. And I guess just because it was so cold, everything froze. The meat was frozen, the blood was froze like ice, and it just didn't work. That's the only one we had issues with, and we made it work the best way that we could. The ones that it involved, they pivoted and they did a good job, and I mean, you can't ask for any better.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Grace Hernandez for a moment. She last minute, cast member. When she got the script and read what her character and everything like that, and I know everyone said that she surprised everybody just by the way that she portrayed the character. Now, when I was watching it after hearing all these conversations, I was trying to pay attention to every single little detail. I think that's why I'm up to 10. That's a lie. I like the movie. That's why I'm up to 10. I can't lie for shit. So, but with her character, she seemed the only, like one of the only innocent ones, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were other innocent people, but she seemed like the most innocent one. Like she literally had nothing.
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking with her and Jenny said that she couldn't watch what happened. She had to walk to the back, and I'm like, okay. And then after seeing it, I was like, I wouldn't be able to watch that shit neither. I mean, not to my kid, you know what I'm saying? So she said you guys were so respectful with the way things was done, though, that at the end of the day, it makes for better quality because you guys care about your actors,
Sure.
But Justin, you do have a knack for killing a lot of people.
We try.
I mean, Carl actually died of both your movies.
I mean, you know, it's just Carl. It'd be all right.
uh, the the catalyst for this whole thing was revenge, and I think that came over very well. But I think the one that really got it the worst was that door that was standing between Lex and Sam. I mean, that door was gone. And his line, car insurance. Come on, man. When I watched it, I was like, "There's that comedy that I love," but then he broke that damn door. I was like, "Yeah, that shit went out the door real quick." uh, was that in the script for him to break the door, or was that accident?
Oh no, yeah, we had it wrote in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to, that was actually at our house, and that was our daughter's bedroom. So I had to make sure that I had a door to replace because her not having a door would have been a terrible thing. So
Very
luckily we
true.
had an extra one. We made some modifications to it, and I thought it added that added a lot to the film. I think overall.
Oh yeah. Uh, I I want to ask about the dynamics between just the entire Gable family. Like you can tell the brothers, the sons, they worked cohesively in what Mama Gable wanted. So they did what they needed to do. Uh,
Mhm.
would you say that between the Gables and the Slaughters, both families kind of cohesively worked against each other, but only together, like a wrestling match? The Slaughters were one side, Gables were one side.
Mhm.
Then when they got together, it's kind of lopsided there for a while. But when they got together, would you say that their chemistry all together in their characters, not as people, just their characters, the way they portrayed them, that it came off the way you wanted it to?
Mhm.
I agree. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I mean, to me, shout out the biggest testament to that would be Jenny, just because again, when we look at who we used, you've got Christopher, Dan, Ty, Lex. They all wrestle the same show, the same area, so they all already knew each other. Aaron goes to those shows, and Aaron just fits right in with anybody. That's just Aaron's
Mhm.
personality. And I mean, Jenny does too, but just because, you know, Jenny being the female and her not, you know, she's not into wrestling, she's not really into horror movies or anything like that. And just the way that she was able to move right in. And I mean, I think the cohesiveness between both families off scene, off camera, I think is a testament to her.
Oh, yeah. This is the moment where I'm going to give you guys the floor to plug your socials, your movies, your merchandise, anything you want to plug.
Yeah. Everything is let's see, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's all Horrorland Media. Um, horrorlandmedia.square.site, of course, is our website. Both films are on there for $25 a piece. If you want to get both of them, you can reach us at any of those social medias. Just message us. We're doing a deal right now, 2 for $40. That's our convention special, so to speak. So you can always reach out and get them a little cheaper there. Save yourself a couple bucks. Um, I think that's pretty
Pretty
much
much
it.
it.
Yeah. I mean, you again on our socials, we've got all our conventions listed, so we've got a lot coming up to finish out the year. It's been a busy year for conventions. This is our biggest year yet. So definitely go follow us on there and check out those dates and see if we're coming anywhere close to where you may be.
Uh, uh, Leigh, is if there's any advice you could give to anybody to get into the industry, what would you give them?
The same thing I gave to you. Just do
Just do it. Yeah, thank you.
it.
You know, the that's actually good advice because I've actually no one really knows. So other than who's ever on my Facebook, so I wrote a script a couple years ago, and I was just so like I don't know, people might not like it, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. You think because I could talk a lot, me and Carl should never be in a room together, but uh, I started rewriting some of the parts and kind of like redoing some stuff. And because of your advice and everyone else's advice, I'm actually going forward and little by little doing, so who knows? Maybe I'll be joining you guys on a convention scene one day. You never know. Yeah.
There you go.
And
We've
then
got some good ones. I can tell you which ones to do and which ones not to do. We know down here in the South, anyways.
oh yeah. Actually, me and Lauren talked about it. I think it's you guys go to Scarefest, right?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think next year me and Lauren plan on going to Scarefest. So if you guys are there, we'll see you there.
Yeah, we'll be there. That's
Yeah.
that's
This
our,
year in 2025.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh,
Or
next
next year.
next year. Well, I don't know. Maybe this year.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
She's the boss.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great show. It's
Yeah,
huge.
it's huge, but it's fun.
Brandon, the promoter of that, he's a great guy. They try to do 100 guests. I think it's huge.
Dang.
It's absolutely great.
Oh yeah. Uh, Justin, what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to get into the industry?
Same thing. Just do it. I mean, I didn't grow up with a camera in hand, going around the neighborhood filming movies with. Yeah, I didn't do that. Um, and if it hadn't have been for meeting a couple like-minded people like Carl and Eric, I still wouldn't have. But we did it, and even if someone buys it and they say, "Man, Mother Shucker sucks" or "Twisted Gable sucks," if that's their opinion, no one can take away from you what you did. No one can take away the camaraderie of your cast that you had freezing or burning up. So yeah, I mean, just do it because at the end of the day, no one will ever be able to take that away from you.
Oh yeah. So in talking with the people, there's me, Lisa, and there's a third person who's like a silent partner with NC-17. And talking with them, and them have been here and seen the movie, they told me I can 100% guarantee that you're both and Carl are going to be up for Director of the Year. So, in the
There we
NC-17
go.
awards.
Nice.
Good deal.
Yeah. Of course, that's all the way at the end of the year. Don't ask me why they told me to tell you now, but whatever. No, you guys, you knocked it out the park with Mother Shucker. You knocked it out the park with Twisted Gables. And Mother Shucker 2, he's getting in shape. Right? That what, 2-3 minutes was like, I had to go back and watch Mother Shucker after watching Twisted Gables. Yeah, but I don't know, just the way Carl talks draws in a crowd. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I mean, it's the same way at conventions. I mean, he can definitely talk about the movies, no problem. Like he's got it down to an art.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Of course my favorite line is still when hillbilly Barbie bullshit is this, but I think I'm gonna get that shit tattooed on me somewhere. uh but no, you guys have been awesome and thank you for coming on. I think this is your fifth time, fourth time. So I'm like, you guys, this is
Yeah,
your
we
house now.
appreciate you having us.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, no problem. There was like 2 or 3 people I didn't get a chance to interview, but I think they were busy. So I'll get them next time around, hopefully. If not, I understand. Yeah. The thing about you guys is you're open to everybody, which is awesome. So yeah. And Justin, my friend, my brother from another mother in horror, you get to close out the show today.
Okay. So yeah, we appreciate everyone tuning in and follow us on all those socials and make sure that you follow NC-17 for all his awesome videos. Follow us over on Horrorland Media on YouTube as well. And as always, stay scary and you never know, maybe we'll be on another time.
Oh yeah, you will be. All right, everybody, stay NC-17.